EA Sports in the game.
Hello, Leg Lover here, and today we are not on F1 2020. Today we are on F1 2021, and I'm very excited for this. Today we're just going to be going through my first ever laps on the game. It's going to be a 25% race at Silverstone against the AI, and we're just going to be seeing how the AI have changed, whether or not they've improved, and in general just taking a look at my first impressions on this game. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as there's plenty more F1 2021 content on the way. But guys, I'm not going to waste any more time here. Let's get straight into the video. Alright, getting straight into it then. We're going to be driving at Silverstone in the Red Bull of Sergio Perez, and what you're seeing now is pretty much my first laps on the game. So if my driving is terrible, that's why. That's my excuse, basically. But we're here in one-shot qualifying. We're not going to start from the back of the grid, because I've actually seen that the AI are quite overpowered to some extent. And so we're going to try and set the best time possible here. But as you can see, our time that we're setting so far is not very good. We're down in P14. And we're struggling to find pace. I was using one of the preset setups for this race and this qualifying, and I quickly realized that the preset setup was absolutely terrible, and it was just a lot of understeer and very hard to find grip with the front tires. So I struggled with this setup. As you can see, 1.4 seconds is the gap between Hamilton and myself at the moment on this lap. So it's not been a great lap, but we're trying our best here as we exit Stowe. Definitely there was a lot different between these cars and the 2020 cars, and it was definitely noticeable, especially through those high-speed corners at Silverstone. But I'm not going to get into too much detail about that. That's going to be for Thursday. We're going to get into detail on that stuff on Thursday. But you can see the qualifying results here. They've actually changed the results screen. So now it shows the picture of the fastest driver on the left. But you can see the results here. Hamilton P1, Bottas P2, and Verstappen P3. But we're going to get straight into the race then. Formation lap right now. And one thing that I noticed immediately is that there's no more tire wear screen on the formation lap, so I guess there's no more tire wear on the formation lap. I'm not sure why that was removed, or even if it was removed, but there was no tire wear screen on the formation lap, which is something to note. But we're lining up on the grid now to start my first ever race on this game. It's 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights here. And it's lights out. And let's go racing here, and there's tons of wheel spin off the start. Might as well just be doing burnouts. But through turn 1 we go 3 wide with Leclerc, or Sainz, and Gasly. And we're side by side with Sainz through turn 3, and we find a gap down the inside of turn 4, making it 3 wide there. We get the move done on Gasly, and Stroll manages to keep the position with a better exit. And we're using the overtake button, but it looks like we're going to have to go defensive on Pierre Gasly here, as we have a look to the right of Lance Stroll, but we're unable to get that done. We have another look around the outside, but nothing working there. Using the overtake button here, and 3/10 is the gap up ahead to Stroll. We've already made up 2 positions, so it's been a good start. And as we head out of Copse, lots of understeer through there, as you could see. But look at those cars going side by side entering the S section, and they're all going for moves on each other as we get the S section terribly wrong, just taking too much of the curb there. Still getting used to the car at this stage of the race. But heading down the straight, we're gaining a lot of time on the guys up ahead with the slipstream. The slipstream seems to be very powerful on this game as we run slightly out wide and get a warning, and we absolutely send it down the inside of Lance Stroll. He leaves us the space, and we're going to keep it around the outside for the final corner using the overtake button, and we get the move done. That's some very nice racing with the AI there. And I think on the 2020 games, if I was in that situation, the AI would have just turned in on me simply. So, some improvements already with the AI racing there. A very nice overtake on Stroll, and we both left each other enough space. So, very nice already. Very nice stuff that we're seeing from the AI. But the gap up ahead now to Ocon, who is the last of the points runners, is 0.7 of a second, and we're going to try to close in that gap. But there's obviously a lot of stuff different with these 2021 cars, and it's mostly noticeable in high speed, especially through this Copse corner. It was very noticeable, and the AI were absolutely destroying me through that corner. So I struggled through Copse corner a lot, and through the S section, as Stroll has a look down the inside there, and he's not able to make that work. Now the gap to Stroll is 4.5 of a second. I don't think he'll be close enough for a move into Stowe, and he is not. Another corner that was tricky was Stowe. As you could see there, we got a ton of understeer, and we nearly ran out wide on the exit. And another thing that was different with these cars is it seems like they're much better on the exits of corners, especially low speed corners. You can get on the throttle so much earlier in these cars. It just seems to be a lot better on the exits of corners. But we've cut on to the start of lap 4 of this race, heading into turn 3, and we've actually gone defensive to Stroll because he has caught up, making the gap just 0.2 of a second as we exit turn 4. And now heading through turn 5, and Stroll is going to have DRS on us, and you can see he's gaining in a straight line. We're using the overtake, but it's not enough. Heading into this left-hander, it's very close between the two of us. Very close racing here, and that's great to see from the AI. Getting so close and keeping it clean through that corner. It's always great to see, of course. But we've managed to keep the position for now, but heading through Copse corner, I'm sure the AI is just going to gain so much time, and you can see Stroll is pulling to the right side of the track into the S section, and he has a look down the inside but backs out of the move as we actually get our third warning of this race and get a penalty. I think we skipped over the second warning, but a silly mistake, taking too much curb, and we get a warning. But look at Stroll, and he's going around the outside of Stowe. He gains so much time on the straights with that DRS and slipstream. He's unable to get the move done through Stowe, but he just gained so much time down that straight behind us. And now exiting and going through the final corner. And Stroll is 0.2 behind us, and Sainz is not far behind him at all. And heading into turn 3, and now turn 4, and the gap is 0.2. And Stroll is definitely going to be looking for a move down this straight and into the left-hander after this straight. I forgot the name of that corner. But heading down this straight, and actually Stroll's not able to go for a move into the left-hander, and into the right-hander he's just going to stick behind for another corner, and he's probably going to go for another move going into the S section because I'm taking Copse terribly during this race. I pretty much take it badly on every single lap. I was just struggling through that corner. But you can see Stroll is going for a move now through the S section, and he has to back out. We just about leave him enough room there, and we just about keep the position through the S section. Once again, very, very close racing with Stroll. But look, it might get even closer here, as Stroll is drawing to the outside of the track once again for Stowe. And once again, he's unable to get the move done around the outside of that corner. And we position our car in the middle of the track to go slightly defensive into the chicane. But Stroll does not go for a move there. And now the gap to Stroll behind is 0.3 of a second. So he will have DRS. So will Sainz behind him in the Ferrari. Heading into turn 3. And a slight correction of the wheel, which forces us to go wide. And for turn 4, it's very important that we get a good exit through here, or else Stroll will have an easy overtake done on us. And you can see behind us, Stroll is gaining so much time. We're going to have to go defensive here. Heading into the left-hander, we go slightly deep, and it forces us to make contact, slight contact with Stroll. And now Sainz has actually gained the position as a result of that contact. So very close racing results in slight contact, and now Sainz is up to P12 here. And we head through Copse Corner, and we get a big slide through there, and it just allows Sainz to close up through here. He leaves us just enough room, so we do the same for the right-hander, and we're able to just about keep position through Maggots and Beckett's. But exiting Maggots and Beckett's in Chapel, and Sainz is just 2/10 behind, and he's surely going to go for a move around the outside of Stowe, and he's managed to keep it side by side. On the exit, he runs slightly out wide. We're going to try and go around the outside, but Sainz covers off the outside. We've got it all wrong under braking. We've had a massive moment of oversteer, and Sainz has got the position. We just about keep the position from Gasly, and that was something that you don't normally see from the AI. But heading into turn 3 now, we're going to try and go for a move. We have a look down the inside, but nothing is working there. But at that final chicane, that was something that I have never seen from the AI on the 2020 game. I was trying to stay on the outside and possibly come back at Sainz for a move on the outside. But as soon as Sainz got ahead, he just covered off that outside line and moved back to the racing line. And so that's great defensive work to see from the AI, which you don't normally see, and I never saw that type of defense on the 2020 game, and it really forced us to try and take a different line, and it ended up resulting in Sainz keeping the position here as we get a big snap of oversteer going wide at Copse. But yeah, that's great to see that defensive work from Sainz, and hopefully we see a lot more of that from the AI. It seems like the AI's battling skills and defense and stuff like that has improved quite a lot. But now our teammate is in the pits. There are cars diving it into the pits right now, including our teammate Max Verstappen. And Sainz actually goes into the pit lane as we head into the final chicane. And Gasly, actually, no, he doesn't. Gasly stays out for another lap. We're going to probably have to respond to Sainz pitting by pitting on this very next lap, hoping for an overcut. And as you can see, the end of that same lap, and we actually get a warning at Stowe, but we're heading into the pit lane now, and we get it nice and slowed down, maybe a bit too much slowing down there, but we have not speeded into the pit lane, and now we're in for our pit stop here, and we're shortly going to head right into our pit box. Pulling into the pit box now, we're going to change onto the medium tire, and it's a 2.6 second pit stop, and plenty of tire smoke actually on that pit box there, something that you don't normally see on the F1 2020 game. Nice little detail added to the pit stops on this game. Nice to see, of course. And now we're shortly going to exit the pits, and we actually get a big snap of oversteer, nearly pulling a Grosjean, but the overcut has absolutely failed. It just, simply put, it's just failed. Not only has Sainz stayed ahead, but Raikkonen has actually jumped us with an undercut. So we've got a lot of work to do to make up some time. We've got Giovinazzi within a second of us, and Raikkonen just over a second ahead of us. And heading into this left-hander, and now into the right, we've just got to try and gain the time on Raikkonen up ahead, hopefully going for a move on him, and then maybe we can catch up to Sainz. And now, cutting onto the end of that same lap, starting lap 10 now, and Mazepin's in the pit lane, so that's another position for us. And Raikkonen up ahead is just 0.6 ahead now, so we have closed the gap quite a bit on that previous lap. Heading through turn 4, exiting turn 4 now, we're going to try and look for a move actually down this straight. We're going to have DRS, slipstream, and we're going to use the overtake, and look at how much we're gaining on the straight. Heading into the left-hander, we go down the inside, but Raikkonen just turns in and leaves absolutely zero space, as if we weren't even there. But we have a look around the outside of Raikkonen, and it doesn't work, and we end up getting a warning there. But heading down the straight, we're very close to him, and going into Cops, we're going to have a move down the inside, side by side, exiting Cops, and we've almost got the move done, but Raikkonen's still there. And heading into the S section, we're side by side, a little bit of contact, and still through Magnussen and Beckett, we were side by side until Chapel, where Raikkonen backed out. But that was great, close racing once again to see from the AI. It really shows that the AI have really improved at battling and defending and attacking, going for moves and all that type of stuff. It's really great to see the improvements made to the AI. But exiting the final corner right now to start lap 11, and now we cut on to lap 12, and I just wanted to show this bit because as you can see, we get a huge snap of oversteer through Cops, and yeah, that corner was definitely a lot more difficult on the 2021 game than the 2020 game. And another moment we're going to show here, actually on the final lap, heading through the S section, we take a bit too much curb and nearly spin out. So some of these corners that you pretty much didn't even have to think about in the 2020 cars are really much more of a challenge in these 2021 cars. So definitely something to take note of. We're going to go in much more detail about that type of stuff on Thursday in the Thursday video. But the checkered flag is waving now, and Daniel Ricciardo actually wins the race. Maybe we can see that in real life for the British Grand Prix, just maybe. But we crossed the line, and it's a pretty disappointing result of P14 with that penalty added. But these were pretty much, well, they were my first laps on the game as Giovinazzi gets driver of the day. So I wasn't expecting too much good pace. I didn't have a setup, and yeah, I was still just learning the car, just trying to showcase my first laps on the game and showcasing how the AI have changed, whether or not they've improved or not. And judging by this race, they've definitely improved. It's great racing the AI, definitely a lot better than the previous game, which is great to see. But yeah, overall, great improvements so far. And as we see the podium celebrations now, Daniel Ricciardo is the race winner today. Lewis Hamilton finishes in P2, and Valtteri Bottas rounds out the podium in P3. And as we see the drivers spraying champagne on each other, once again, just saying that the AI have definitely improved, and it's all great to see here. And yeah, overall, positive signs so far from this new game. Overall, some good improvements, and on Thursday, we're going to go in more detail with even more changes on this new game. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And there's going to be lots of stuff to cover about F1 2021. And on Thursday, we're going to go in detail with stuff like the handling model, how the downforce, how the setups have changed, how the tracks have changed, how the cars have changed, how really lots of stuff has changed. And we're going to go in detail with all of that on Thursday, and then lots of breaking point content, and then maybe some open lobbies, and all that exciting stuff. Expect to see it all on the channel. But guys, thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.